Yeah, good. No small blind, not worth it. Oh, I had a queen. That's it.
Queen deuce.
Queen 4. You missed it. You're getting worse.
Statistically, you will get walks with ace, king, and aces more than any other hands.
Hashtag fun facts. To the outer tables, where we have a battle of the big stacks, Shilhabel versus Katai.
These guys are looking pretty sleepy, too. To be fair, Davide always looks like that, and I've never seen this other guy before.
Stefan Shilhabel came fourth in Malta in 2015, an event we both covered. He bets 29,000 here.
Either way, let's just get up. Let's get the blood flowing. Come on. Let's get everybody moving.
Well, Katai is moving chips. He calls the bet. This hand going to the river.
Yeah, the river, that gets your blood pumping. It's a heart, too.
Action on Shilhabel. He checks. Katai checks behind. Pocket sixes. Are good.
Sixes maybe could have gone for some thin value on the river. He was blocking 6-5, and it would have been hard for Katai to even fold ace high on that board. I'm mostly kidding, though. I could never bet there.
Shilhabel now up to 1.29 million. Tournament chip leader. Back at the main stage, the double espressos have arrived.
I just had 3 myself, James. Really good stuff. Let's play some poker. Woo! USA! USA!
So glad this is the last level of the day. Action on Vilela. 8-3. He passes. Brion's out. Daniel. That's Queen Jack of Diamonds.
Hey, take some money with you. I want you to be a rich, rich, rich woman.
Thank you.
I hope those aren't tournament chips.
18.
Daniel raising to 18,000.
We know how much Daniel likes this hand. He folded it to a 3-bet from Selena Lynn earlier in the tournament, and he almost cried.
Elke with ace-8 in the small blind. Let's it go.
Okay, now go buy a car. You're welcome.
Generous.
The St. Ensan has pocket fives in the big blind and calls.
All right, heads up. Let's both hit a flop and go crazy.
Can just both have nothing and go crazy.
Yeah.
The flop is Jack 6-5. Top pair for Negreanu, a set for Ensan.
This is bad.
Check.
Daniel may be looking to get that tip back.
Daniel has continued for 22,000. Ensan. Counting out a raise.
Hi. How much?
55,000.
Daniel may just be too tired to do too much thinking with top pair. And that would be bad.
Make it 100.
Daniel re-raises.
Also, some part of Daniel must think Ensan could be tilting from the 10-7 punt.
How much you have behind?
124.
I go all in.
I guess I call. I'm not going to put in 100 and fold the rest. You got something?
Set.
A set? How big? No good. I have the bigger set. Good hand.
Daniel at risk and way behind.
Set? Yeah, that's considered something.
No, you ain't run-outs.
I'm going to have a sip of my tea before. But that's okay. It's all right.
You guessed it. You guys both hit something and go crazy.
Yeah. That's what I said. Let's both flop something and go crazy.
Yeah, why'd you do that?
The turn could have Daniel drawing dead. Sure enough.
Okay. Good hand, bud. Go get him.
Nigeriano.
Good luck, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah. Play good.
See you,
Good luck,
Daniel.
bud.
Yeah,
Aces,
thanks.
Mr. Aces, and 3-betting guy.
See you around. Maybe you can just still jump.
Yeah, I'm going to go relax. I'm too tired for that.
Really seems like being in this tournament and taking a nap are kind of a flip for him.
Bon chance.
Okay. Thank you.
Daniel Negreanu cashes out in 51st place for 12,080 euros. His chips, now the property of Hussein Ensan.
Guess that 10-7 hand was great advertising.
From one big stack to another, Michael Kolkovich has bet 100,000 on the turn in a hand against former chip leader Jerome Lostis.
If Lustige looks full and satisfied, it's because a few hours ago he ate Patrick Antonius's lunch.
He's been on the descent since then, and now he's all in.
Tell me how much it exactly, please.
For your weight?
This is a pretty wet board. Lots of ways to be made and to be drawing. Hard to know which one you're up against.
Will cost Kolkovic roughly 20% of his stack to call.
I will say this about Lustige. Every single time he's shown down, he's had a winner. I tend to believe he's got it.
Kolkovic has no live cashes to his name. Earlier, he KO'd our qualifier. And now he'll put Lustige at risk. Jerome tables the nuts.
Je sais que je suis derrière, mais il y a trop d'argent au milieu.
Kolkovic with 2 pair. And he rivers a full house.
What the heck?
Jerome Lustige loses with a straight. And is KO'd in 50th place. On a positive note, he scores his first ever main event cash, just over 12,000 euros. Well, Michael Kolkovic is guaranteed his first live cash in this tournament. Here's a genuine hashtag fun fact. He got married inside this room.
Must have been tough with all the poker tables.
Sigh. Over to the secondary feature table, a 3-way all-in with 2 players at risk. Dublin finalist Ilias Kamatakis covered by both Dan Smith and Sebastian Mallets.
Looks like Mallets was trying to isolate Kamatakis and Dan Smith woke up with a hand.
The flop is 9-4 deuce. It's not looking good for Kamatakis. Smith still ahead with ace high.
Jack of spades, maybe?
No, it's a 3 of hearts.
Not a sweat card.
The river is another 9.
Good game. Good luck, guys.
Game.
So Dan Smith survives, but Kamatakis is out in 49th.
Ace high beats them all. Gotta feel good considering the massive fold we saw him make a little while ago.
Well, back at the main feature table, Hussein Ensan has shoved on Alexander Tomovic.
Cool.
And he has called all in. We're off to the races.
Like yachts versus butlers, one of these two hands has a slight mathematical advantage.
Tomovic, who is number 7 on Serbia's all-time money list, will need 9s to hold to survive. But it's a king-high flop.
Pure insanity.
Tomovic now needs a 9. One last chance to hit. 1 card to come. It's a 5. Tomovic is done.
Good game.
He finishes in 46th place.
Alexander Tomovic, I wish we'd had more time to get to know each other. You played lots of exciting hand.
Ensan's been on a great run.
And he agreed to come to my baseball game.
Day 3 concludes with 45 players remaining. Michael Kolkovic will come into day 4 as chip leader. Former champ Davide Katai is still playing a 7-figure stack, and both Elki and Hussein Ensan are in the tournament top 10. Next time, the clock is ticking.
Clock.
Time.
Time on 3.
You have 1 moment to act from that.
Why you are so nervous?
That means you're bluffing?
Holdem.
And the pressure is mounting.
There is no shame in folding.
The biggest moments in our lives inspire awe. And that awe creates pressure. In poker, there are few more awe-inspiring places than Monaco. and no pressure, like going deep in a major tournament. To make the money, you have to be good. It's how you handle pressure that makes you great.
You can go crazy, absolutely crazy, but I will have to just get in the zone and focus.
Essayer de jouer normalement sans me mettre la pression, au moins c'est cet avantage.
It's gonna be tougher for sure. I'm just trying to stay focused and play my best game, but I just care a lot about the championship title.
With fewer than 50 players remaining, greatness beckons. We're back on the Riviera for day 4 of our €5,000 main event. Last time, it was chip up or go home. Daniel Negreanu was off the boil
Just taking my power nap.
and made some poor decisions,
Nice hand.
finally falling to a former champ.
Play good. Good luck, bud. Aces, Mr. Aces.
Ensan wasn't the only previous champ doing well. Elke was on a heater.
Aces again. Wow. Nice hand.
There was lots of all-in, and luckily I only got it all-in with aces, so so that was good, and they held both times.
And for the tournament chip leader, Michael Kolkovic, day 3 was business as usual.
Depuis que j'ai commencé le tournoi, j'ai fini à chaque fois dans les journées premier ou deuxième en jetons. C'est pas une image qui me déplaît.
45 players are about to take their seats for day 4 of the main event.
About halfway there. It's like the Wednesday of the tournament, the weekend being the final table.
Well, still a lot of poker to be played until we get there. And plenty of reasons to be excited about this hump day in the tournament.
Hump day. The guy who won the last Monte Carlo main event, he can still go 2 in a row. The emotional kid from Barcelona, he's still in, and Elke is making his deepest run in years.
It's been a while since I had a deep run in main event, especially here. Obviously, the best players are more likely to be surviving the last 45. So it's gonna be tougher for sure, but I'm ready for it.
Those tough opponents include a young gun who knows what it takes to win.
Going to day 4, I feel really good. After winning Barcelona, I'm much more calm and more aware of what's happening. I think I'm in a pretty good spot to get through this field.
But it's not all about past form. One man has some real confidence, not to mention a lot of chips.
De l'arrivée de chip leader, ça me donne une grande confiance et ça va me permettre de jouer mon jeu comme je sais le faire. Donc c'est d'être très agressif pour jouer et pour ça j'ai besoin de jetons.
Time to dial up the pressure as day 4 begins. Welcome once again to the Pokerstars Championship presented by Monte Carlo Casino. I'm James Hartigan with Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies.
6 tables in play. Everyone left in the tournament now guaranteed more than 15 grand and players arriving to take their seats.
Hossein Ensan, winner of Prague 2015 and Wish He Were My Real Dad 2017.
There's Davide Katai, accompanied by his fiancée Caroline.
She spent more time on the rail than Andrew Carnegie. And Jan Bendik, who constantly looks like he's ended up with the wrong person's luggage.
Well, headlining the main stage today is the 2008 PCA champ, Elke.
I'm feeling really good today. Of course, I have a lot of chips, you know, although the table is seems pretty tough, like between Dan Smith and Malek, the guy who won in Barcelona last year. I played with Malek a little bit only, but Dan Smith is on my right, but it's short stack, so it's kind of alright. And other players seem pretty good too. I mean, definitely it's going to be a tough day as we get much closer to the final table and big money, but feeling confident, so I'm just going to be like playing my best, you know.
Well, chip leader Michael Kolkovic will be playing at the secondary feature table.
Very aggressive player.
While Elke prepares to take his seat on the main stage.
It's good of him to walk to the table and follow the tournament rules by not using his portal gun.
He'll be sandwiched between Dan Smith and Sebastian Mallets.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hey, Dan.
Dan, one of the shortest stacks of the table.
The other table shorty being Paul Testud from France, who started playing poker before most of us were born. In the 8th seat, we've got an online qualifier, Dmitro Shovanov from Ukraine. And we will get the action started with the blinds at 5,000, 10,000 with a 1,000 ante. Action will be on Sebastian Mallet. He's under the gun, first to speak. Pocket sixes. Sebastian raises to 22,000. Aces for Paul Testud.
Guy's got over $2 million in live earnings. And now I know why with moves like this.
Just a call.
It's actually fine. You can't really worry about getting sucked out on with a stack that small, and a 3-bet would look super strong.
Round to the blinds. Smith passes. Elke has Jack 6 in the big. He folds, so we're going heads up to the flop. Tested almost a 9-1 favorite.
Mallet has no idea what he's up against.
A queen, queen, 4 flop. Tested now a 96% favorite. And Mallet's is betting. He continues for 18,000.
His hand's got to be good a lot. And for Tested, I think just calling against the play. If you raise, you're only going to get action from hands that have you beat.
Sure enough, just a call. The turn card is the 9 of spades. Mallet's down to 2%. Only one card in the deck he can hit on the river to win this hand. He slows down, checks the action. Tested checks behind.
Still loving the slow play. Let him catch up or bluff.
No help for Mallet on the river. He checks.
Now you gotta bet.
Paul Testud going for value, 23,000.
Pretty small bet. Easy to just chuck those chips in.
Mallet's calls.
You can't teach an old dog new tricks, but sometimes the old tricks are so old that the new dog doesn't even know how this is real life.
Hey?
He just got pwned so hard, he better get tested.
Paul now up to 255,000. As we head over to the secondary feature table where chip leader Michael Kolkovic has gone to the river against Paul-Francois Tedeschi. Kolkovic with a straight, Tedeschi with just a pair of 8s.
Kolkovic has been super aggressive, and in this case, it's easy to be aggressive when you get there harder than a paratrooper.
He bets 184,000, a not insignificant percentage of Tedeschi's remaining chips.
That is a huge bet.
Tu chaud si je fold? Non, jamais.
Tu le verras après.
What's the rule in the French? I'm gonna allow it.
Paul-Francois giving this serious thought with not much of a hand.
Time.
Kolkovic has called the clock on him.
Timetable 4.
I mean, this is such a huge polarizing bet. It's supposed to be air some of the time, so it's got to be tempting to call.
Tedeschi will be put on a 60-second countdown. No need for that. He passes.
Correct.
Michael Kolkovic up to 1.45 million.
That's almost 3 times the average. That's pretty good.
And it means he is still tournament chip leader ahead of Stefan Schilhabel. We've got 3 former champions in the top 10. Davide Katai in 3rd, Elke in 8th, Hussein Ensan in 10th. Let's check in on Ensan. The 2015 Prague champion is in a hand against Prague 2016 finalist Sergei Petrushevsky.
Petrushevsky eternally looks stressed out. Oh, jeez.
He's checked the river.
Well, this river hits just about everything.
Bet coming from Ensan. A bet of 100,000.
And because the river hits everything, I think it's really hard for him to be bluffing here. Oh.
Petrushevsky really does look stressed.
It's a big chunk of his stack.
He calls. Ensan tables ace 6 of spades for the nut flush, and it's good.
Shows not a bluff.
Ensan up to 865,000.
Hossein in the membrane and San in the bran.
2 eliminations so far today. We're down to 43. We're going back to the main feature table, where Sebastian Mallets will be first to act. He looks down at 5-4 of diamonds. Doesn't want to play that from first position.
Fair.
Round to Alexandru Papazian from Romania.
Year of Romania.
Ace 3 of hearts. He is number 1 on Romania's all-time money list. He won the 25k high roller here in Monte Carlo last year. So he's raised it to 24k. Action's been folded around to Elke in the big blind. He's got King Jack of spades. And he defends. Heads up to the flop. Ace 9-6, top pair for Papazian. Couple of backdoor draws for Elke. He checks. Papazian continues, betting 20,000.
Not a particularly good spot for Elke because he's got decent equity against everything but an ace or king-queen, and Papazian's got an ace.
Elke calls the bet and picks up a straight draw on the turn. Checks for a second time. No second barrel from Papazian. He checks behind. And the 7 of diamonds is no help to Elke. Papazian's pair of aces still good.
Elke probably happy to take some king-high showdown value.
He checks.
To check or not to check?
He checks.
King high.
No good.
Oh, slow roll.
Papazian takes 45k off Elke. It's a small dent in his stack. He's still among the chip leaders here on day 4 in Monte Carlo. Day 4 of the Monte Carlo main event kicked off with just 45 players left in the running for a seat at the final table. So far, it's been a day of mixed fortunes, with neither Sebastian Mallets nor Elke off to a great start. But amateur Michael Kolkovic continues to steamroller the field and gave French pro Paul-Francois Tedeschi
Time.
serious pause for thought before taking a sizable chunk of his stack. And right now, 43 remain in the Pokerstars Championship presented by Monte Carlo Casino. And at the secondary feature table, it's Tedeschi versus Lee Hon Chong. A straight and a diamond draw for Tedeschi, a pair and a heart draw for Hon Chong.
OMG, nut straight with a diamond draw and you're still only an 80% favorite. Sheesh.
Tedeschi betting 88,000.
I don't see how you fold a pair and a draw to the nut flush. You don't do it.
Sure enough, a call from Lee Hon Chong, and this hand going to the river. It's the king of hearts. That's the nut flush for Hon Chong.
Not good news for this boy.
And Tedeschi's betting. $188,000.
Li Han Chong has got to raise, and raising even the minimum is pretty much all in.
He is all in for 411,000. Decision time for Tedeschi.
Well, every song by Tedeschi Trucks Band is like 9 minutes long, and so are many of Paul Tedeschi's tanks. Certainly worthwhile giving this a think, though. In this case, at this point, he's only beating bluffs. I guess it's possible in some round that Han Chong could overplay some value hands like a set or a worse straight, but probably not.
Clock.
Clock this.
You have 1 more minute to act from now.
The second time today the clock's been called on Tedeschi. It was Stefan Schilhabel who called time. And that's a call!
Looks like Tedeschi Truck Bands may be leaving the stage a bit early tonight.
He loses a huge pot to Li Han Chong. And will be left with just 8 big blinds. We need to head back to the main feature table where online qualified Dmitro Shavanov has shoved. It's all in to call for Marius Giersa, who has been in the tank for some time. If he does call, he will be out. His 4 kicker is no good.
I want to call so bad, but I can't find enough blocks.
Not with spades out there, too.
Clock.
Time.
And now the clock's been called on Giersa.
Alright, sir. You'll have 1 more minute to act from now.
Why you are so nervous?
He doesn't look nervous.
So damn nervous.
Is he looking at the right guy?
Bad flop. Check. Win raise turn. Like, but check call then.
This is great.
I will count down the last 10 seconds before the hand is dead. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
I call.
Goodbye, Giersa.
Just because we did. That's good. It's 4.
Yeah, we all know what that feels like. Terrible.
Good game. Good game, man. That's good. Just called because you got nervous, like when he counted down again.
You wanted to check jam the turn?
Yes.
Well, this was way more interesting.
Yep. Good game, guys.
Marius Giersa exits in 42nd place, collecting just over 15,000 euros.
Yes!
Shavanov up to 851k. Well, back at the secondary feature table, Paul-Francois Tedeschi is all in and at risk, but he's got the best of it. A pair of 8s against a pair of 7s.
Last time he was 80%, this time he's 78. Are they gonna do it to him again?
4 diamonds on the turn. Tedeschi just has to fade a king or a 7 on the river. Schilhabel doesn't hit. Tedeschi doubles up.
Tedeschi trucking on back up toward average. Almost halfway there.
Well, even though he doubled up Tedeschi, Stefan Schilhabel is still among the tournament bosses. He's 3rd overall. Michael Kolkovic still chip leader with more than 1.5 million. Li Han Chong has catapulted into the top 10, but Elke has dropped out. Well, let's head back to Elke's table on the main stage. 41 players remaining. Action on Dmitry Shavanov. Ukrainian folds. Dan Smith is out. Elke's in the cutoff with Queen 10 offsuit.
Elkster, Broadway cards, come at me, bro.
He raises to 20,000. Sebastian Malitz has ace 8 on the button.
Malitz is thinking about 3-betting. This hand isn't the best to do it with, but the position against a frustrated Elke makes it more appealing.
It is a re-raise to 55,000. Tested folds the small blind. Papazian folds the big blind. Back on Elke. And he shows a little bit of frustration as he lets it go.
My guess is he's thinking, Mallets!
Who now has nearly $500,000, closing in on the tournament average. So two former champions tangling there, and a third former champ is about to take a seat at the feature table. Let's check in on some other past winners. Jan Bendit could still go back to back, but he has a short stack.
Where do you even get that jacket?
Saint Ensan is still a boss with close to $1 million.
Coolest senior since Matlock.
Remy Castagnon won Deauville back in 2013.
Remy, where you been, homie?
And there is Davidi taking his seat on the main stage.
Now you're all in big, big trouble.
Salut Davidi, ça va?
Just what everyone wants, a slow-acting, aggro Triple Crown winner.
Another new player at the table, Andreas Klatt, who won the national championship here in Monte Carlo just a few days ago. He's folded under the gun. Paul Tested also folds. Alexandru Papazian has ace-6.
This would be a pretty light raise from this position.
Makes it 20,000.
I will also fold.
This table's been pretty 3-bet happy.
Around to Sebastian Mallets in the big blind, who has ace-9.
Now let's go to the flop.
Sebastian has Alexandru dominated. But the flop is Jack 6-4. It's domination rotation. Papazian has paired his 6. Mallets is checked. Papazian makes a continuation bet of 16,000.
It's a cool bet from a cool daddy-o. Don't want to let your opponent get a free card.
Mallets calls.
Interesting call. Even if you're ahead here, ace-9 doesn't play super well.
King of diamonds on the turn. Mallets checks again. Papazian checks behind. The river card is a 5, so the board is bricked out for Sebastian Mallets. He checks.
I like a check behind here. A value bet would be thinner than the walls of my last apartment. I'm sorry, 12G. I have an active dating life.
We do see a thin value bet from Papazian, 51,000 with just a pair of 6s. And Mallets is reaching for chips.
Yeah, he's not just calling.
A check raise from Mallets. He bluffs for 199,000.
This is why I don't care for going for thin value here. This is an excellent bluff by Mallets, and unlike every automatic shuffler I've ever been given by a relative for Christmas, it is going to work.
The pain of Papazian. He folds the best hand.
Kid knows what he's doing.
Adds 99k to his stack.
Tough hand for the Romanian beatnik. Hey man, aren't they just like all of our chips?
And Mallets, now an above average stack.
We tried that yesterday.
Try what?
I mean, the check raise in the river.
So that means you're bluffing?
Maybe, I know.
So cute, he wants Dan Smith's approval.
Once a fanboy, always a fanboy.
They called me like a poker fanboy.
Sebastian Mallets has gone from poker fanboy to poker champion.
The way I acted, it was just adrenaline. I couldn't help myself. I was just being in the moment.
It is clear that this means the world to him.
All of the experience that I watched on TV or on YouTube or whatever, I experienced it myself.
Every emotion possible in the last 10 seconds.
Sometimes it's kind of hard to believe that that was me, that I was there, that was playing, that I won. Just one moment I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. winning another trophy, especially here, would be really special.
You are special, Sebastian. You are special.
Well, let's head over to the secondary feature table where there's a chance for Paul-Francois Tedeschi to really get back into this game. He has called the all-in of Christian Fajedi. It's ace-10 against ace-7. Fajedi, the player at risk, but it is for most of Tedeschi's stack. The flop is Jack 8-3. Ace-10 is holding. Fajedi needs a 7. Deuce no help. 3 cards that can save him. He's out.
And Paul-Francois Tedeschi doubles up again.
Guys are just gonna unlike it.
Fajedi cashing for 15k.
Come back.
Could be Kolkovic. Tedeschi started today with 560k, dropped to 84k, is now up to 589k. Do you have what it takes to handle swings like that? You can qualify for a main event at Pokerstars.com. In any game of poker, you're going to experience highs and lows. But few players experience them in such a short time frame as Paul-Francois Tedeschi.
Donc oui, là j'ai eu un coup vraiment compliqué où je suis descendu à 8 blindes. Alors là je me suis dit c'est peut-être la fin du tournoi.
But it wasn't the end.
Et finalement j'ai eu un rush, donc j'ai eu un beau rush de cartes et ça s'est déroulé incroyable.
And now he's looking to do even better than last year.
Alors l'année dernière j'ai participé à l'EPT Monaco et j'ai fini 24e donc au jour 5 où je me suis fait éliminer sur un flip, voilà, donc une déception. Donc cette année il faut que je fasse mieux.
And Tedeschi is in action again. At our secondary feature table, he has a set of 7s. His opponent, Stefan Schilhabel, has a flush draw.
Man, if Schilhabel hits his spade, it's going to be pretty awkward. We just made such a big deal about this comeback.
4 of diamonds on the turn. Tedeschi now an 83% favorite. He shoves the turn. And Schilhabel folds.
Wow, I was not expecting a fold there. You have to be like 100% sure your opponent has a set to fold after putting so much in the middle and out to the nuts.
Well, with that hand, Schilhabel will drop under the million mark. Paul-Francois Tedeschi now has more than $1 million.
Comeback continues.
Mic on.
So here's the state of play at the Pokerstars Championship
Mic
presented
off.
by Monte Carlo Casino. Tedeschi now 5th in chips. Schilhabel drops to 7th. Davide Katai is now the only former champ in the top 10. Michael Kolkovic still leads the pack with close to $1.5 million. Back at the secondary feature table, and it's Kolkovic versus Tedeschi.
Jeez, Pablo, take a hand off.
He's ahead for now. Not anymore. Kolkovic's paired is 6. That's 43,000.
Remember, Kolkovic is aggro AF. That stands for aggro Frenchman.
Tedeschi getting frisky. He raises, sticks 100k on top.
Looks like he's got a pretty good read on the strength of Kolkovic's hand, and he's trying to protect his equity. But it looks like he's got a bad read on how much Kolkovic likes his pair of 6s.
Wow, Kolkovic responds with a re-raise to 320,000.
Attempting to re-own.
Oh my. Is Tedeschi gonna put in another bet?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
He folds.
Well, he did have the worst hand.
Après.
Quoi?
La seule chose que je peux te dire, c'est bien passé. Le monde tout à l'heure, je t'ai dit maman parce que t'avais 8 big blinds. Là, je vais te la dire, mais après le tournoi.
Kolkovic is saying that Tedeschi's got too many chips right now for Kolkovic to tell him what he had on the hand. They'll tell him after.
Mon nom c'est Mikhail Kolkovic, j'ai 31 ans, j'habite Jeune Paris et dans la vie je fais de l'immobilier d'entreprise. En fait, je suis plutôt venu pour l'événement, puisqu'on est une bande de copains. C'était aussi pour le week-end, on va dire, du 1er mai. J'ai gagné au cash game, puis j'ai dit, le meilleur moyen de les investir, je pense que c'est dans un tournoi. Et dans le main event, pourquoi pas. Et voilà comment je me suis retrouvé là. Donc c'est extraordinaire. J'ai déjà joué beaucoup de main event, j'ai déjà joué beaucoup de tables où j'ai rencontré des stars connues du poker. J'ai joué souvent à la table de Negreanu aussi, Phil Ivey, Gus Hansen. C'est toujours plaisant, on va dire, de jouer avec des gens connus, on va dire, mais ça change vraiment pas ma façon de jouer. Voilà, j'estime que tout le monde a les mêmes cartes avec les mêmes jetons. Chaque coup, il peut à peu près tout arriver, c'est ce qui rend si riche le poker. Et je pense que c'est pour ça que ça amène autant de joueurs. Je me sens forcément excité à l'idée, content d'avoir beaucoup de jetons, essayer de jouer normalement sans me mettre la pression. Et après, maintenant, c'est le but d'aller au bout.
He most certainly does not seem to care who he's playing against. He's tougher than a day-old baguette.
To the outer tables, where Hussein Ensan has bet the turn, and the clock has been called on Sergei Petrushevsky.
Oh, geez, the clock's been called. How's the guy supposed to think?
King 10, 4-3 board.
It's tough to look more comfortable than this.
Petrushevsky folds top pair.
Oh, geez. You know, if Hussein's shirt were off anymore, he really would be my dad.
Ensan playing more than $1 million. Well, from one previous winner to another, the reigning champ is all in. And his shove has been called by Jerome Brion. Bendik at risk, but ahead. Not anymore, and 9 on the flop.
But spades.
11 outs for Bendik, but he doesn't hit.
Sit open 5.
A suck out by Brion. Which means Jan Bendik will not be going back to back. He exits in 36th place.
First place last year, 36th this year. Still pretty impressive.
Meanwhile, we have got 3 former champs at the feature table. One of them is Davide Katai, who's got aces.
You know, Davide Katai is enough of a nuisance without aces. This is almost unfair.
Katai raising from late position. He makes it 28,000. Shavanov on the button. Folds. Dan Smith gives up the small blind. Elke has ace-9 in the big blind. He defends.
Unfortunately for Elke, he's playing this just fine.
Wow, case ace on the flop.
Flopping a full house with aces is pretty annoying because it's almost impossible to get action, usually.
Look at the percentages. Elke is already drawing dead.
The extra piece of good news for Davide is that it's almost impossible to be beat.
He's continued for 22,000. I'm guessing Elke likes his hand. He calls.
Still pretty understandable.
8 of diamonds on the turn. Elke with 2 pair, ace and kings. Katai with the house.
I think Davide can make a pretty big bet here because Elke's going to call pretty much any size if he's calling at all.
122,000 in the middle. Katai firing a second barrel of 68,000.
Big enough bet to get value and small enough that Elke really can't even consider folding.
There is the call. And this hand is going to the river. Jack of diamonds completes the board.
Poor Elke. This whole hand's like having a bunch of bees flying around your head. There's nothing you can do but flail around and run away and hope to not get stung too bad.
Elke checks for a third time.
An aggro Belgian bee.
I think this simile has run its course. Katai's betting big by the looks of things. Nearly full pot, 220,000.
Big bet makes sense. Elke's gonna have a king here a lot. With the hand Elke does have, he could get away now.
He does get away from it.
Elke keeps making all the right decisions, even though he's running bad. I've said this before, I do not care for sad Elke. It's like watching a Tamagotchi starve to death.
Katai on the ascent, up to 1.1 million. Midway through day 4 in Monte Carlo, and making big decisions is proving difficult for some.
Clock.
Time.
1 more minute to act.
Time on 3. Time on table 2.
The pressure has got the better of many,
That's good.
Good game.
while others have managed to keep a cool head. Elke made a strong fold against Davide Katai, proving that even when the deck is against you, the right mindset can minimize the damage.
Even though I know I've been running bad today, just like play the hands and try to like make the best decision every time.
With hundreds of thousands of euros on the line, great judgment and strong intuition have never been more important. We're down to 33 at the Pokerstars Championship presented by Monte Carlo Casino. We've lost a couple of players from the featured table. Dan Smith eliminated in 34th. Sebastian Mallets has been moved to one of the outer tables. Action here on Davide Katai. Queen, deuce of hearts. That's a fold. Shabanov is out. Elke has ace-7.
Elke looks like his life force is waning. Elke, take my energy.
He raises to 25,000. Andreas Klatt folds the button. Paul Testud folds the small blind. 5 deuce of spades for Alexandru Papazian.
A call here would be Crazian. Not really, I just wanted to say that.
He does call. So these two go heads up to the flop. And Papazian flops a flush.
Jeez Louise.
Meanwhile, Elke has top pair. Can check to him.
I think Elke might literally implode. Nice check behind, though.
9 on the turn sees Elke drawing dead.
Again.
Papazian leading the turn. 68,000.
It's a pretty big bet.
From his perspective, Elke has top pair and a straight draw.
He's in another bee buzzing spot.
And yet he finds a fold.
Wow, he checks back the flop and folds to the turn bet. It is rare you see a player get owned by a fold, but Papazian just did.
Elke can feel your pain, but he still has 541,000. He is not in the danger zone.
I've no pithy rejoinder for that.
So I mentioned that Mallet's got moved. Here he is in a hand against Moritz Dietrich.
Moritz Dietrich looks like the kind of kid who would remind the teacher she forgot to collect the homework.
The river card is a 9. Action is on Mallet's. He checks. Dietrich going for the green chips. They're worth 25,000 each. That's a bet of 200,000. And Mallet's folds. Dietrich up to 1.15 million. Sebastian Malletz has roughly half the tournament average, 340,000. Well, let's stay out in the field and go to another former champion. Hussein Ensan has called the all-in of Jeffrey Hakim. But Ensan is dominated here.
No, Dad, not before the adoption papers go through.
Looking good for Hakim on the flop. And the turn. Queen on the river, and Jeffrey Hakim will double up.
I mean, I guess I could take Jeffrey Hakim as like a big brother or something, as long as somebody comes to my baseball game later.
St. Hensan still going strong, 863,000. At the secondary feature table, Kolkovic and Tedeschi are going to the flop. Ace-King against tens. And the flop is ace-high. Kolkovic now a 9-1 favorite.
Kolkovic has got one gear, and luckily he's been getting the cards to go with it.
The action's been checked to him.
And when a guy's playing more aggressively than a drunken honey badger, you tend to not want to fold to him.
Kolkovic continues for 60,000.
Makes perfect sense.
Tedeschi calls. Turn card is a deuce. Doesn't change anything. Tedeschi checks a second time.
Kolkovic could bet again. Also, checking's fine and going for it on the river.
He checked behind. River for free, which is the 6 of diamonds. A third check from Tedeschi. And a check from Kolkovic.
Oh, no, you gotta bet that. River was a bigger brick than the ones they used to build the pyramids.
Kolkovic wins another pot. And is up to 1.7 million. And Tedeschi, who was on life support earlier on, is now knocking on the door of the tournament top 10.
That's pretty cool.
Meanwhile, man down, Castagnon's out. We are down to 32 players, which means 4 tables of 8. We need to balance the tables, but we'll wait for this hand on the main stage to finish before that. Clat raised from the cutoff with ace-king. Davide Katai defended his big blind with 8-4. We're going to the flop. Top pair for Clat, second pair for Katai. Davide checks.
Bet seems fairly obvious.
Andreas reaches for the chips, which matches shirt. 25,000.
I'm a kitty Clat. Meow.
Katai calls.
I expect him to peel one with a pair.
King on the turn. 2 pair now for Clat. Katai checks again.
I would expect Clat to keep on trucking.
This bet is 70,000.
I like the bet. He can get value out of worse aces and try to protect against hearts and wheel draws.
Katai calls again with just a 4.
Maybe he's got some other tricks up his sleeve.
The river card is an 8. So Katai improves, in inverted commas, to a no-good 2 pair.
Clat cannot love that heart, though. And it looks like Davide Katai is going to get all sneaky snake and acting like he got a flush.
Yeah, he leads for 122,000. And it is possible that Katai was calling the flop and calling the turn with a flush draw and just got there. But Klat's hand is so strong. Top two.
I think most folks are going to make a crying call here, but it does feel very, very flushy.
This bet is for most of Klat's stack.
Holdem.
Wow, he shoved!
Did not see that coming.
How much more?
Not a lot more. 75,000.
This hand is so good I don't really even know what's going on. If Katai was planning on calling a shove, he probably should have just moved all in to start with.
Yeah, he's got himself in a bit of a pickle here.
There is no shame in folding.
Missing at the Klat.
Davide's fiancée Caroline watching from the rail.
Time.
And Papatin calls the clock.
Time, please. Time, please.
This is the wave of the future. Players standing up to habitual tanking.
We have seen a lot of clock calling today. And Katai folds!
Show the jack of spades. Show it.
That shows the ace of diamonds.
That's gonna bug Katai for a while. Even though he did make the right fold.
Did he fold?
What do you have if I tell you if you're gonna tell me?
What's the matter? Klat got your tongue?
So now we can pause proceedings as we balance the 4 remaining tables halfway through day 4. Davide Katai no longer in the top 10 with 32 remaining. These are the biggest stacks. We now have 7 players with more than $1 million. And the French amateur Michael Kolkovic is still chip leader with more than 1.6 million. Next time, day 4 continues. Can Elke turn things around?
Tedeschi held onto his chip, his chair, and now he's got over $1 million.
The celebrated, resurgent.
So it's been a while since I had a deep run in main event, but I don't care as much about one cash in Monaco. I just care more about making the final table.
The committed, resolute.
Le but c'est de gagner un trophée. Ce serait non seulement déjà incroyable de gagner, mais malgré tout ça restera le deuxième souvenir. Parce que j'aurais vraiment vécu 2 choses incroyables dans la salle des étoiles.
Their ultimate destinies have yet to be decided. Fate lies firmly in their hands. With just 4 tables remaining, we've reached the point where everyone starts eyeing a seat at the final table.
Well, Michael Kolkovic has got to be feeling pretty good. He's the chip leader, and he just got upgraded to the main stage.
Along with Paul Tedeschi, the comeback kid. Somehow he went from like 80k to $1 million in the space of 20 minutes.
Both of those guys are as active as ancient Vesuvius, and things are about to get almost as hot.
Things could erupt at any moment here in the main event as we start edging ever closer to the big money. Last year's champ Jan Bendik's already been sent to the rail, meaning it's time for someone new to make a play for the throne. Amateur player Michael Kolkovic has so far been a force to be reckoned with. He has the chip lead, and that should concern the field.
Un joueur très agressif et je pense que les joueurs quand ils rentrent dans un coup avec moi, en général ils savent qu'il va falloir mettre des jetons, que j'ai du jeu ou pas. Et ça malgré tout en tant que joueur, et je pense que malgré tout ça rend prudent.
Paul-François Tedeschi has already faced off against Kolkovic and knows how unpredictable the Frenchman can be.
C'était un joueur très agressif, qui mettait beaucoup de pression, qui faisait de grosses relances. Du coup, c'était très dur de manœuvrer contre lui et il m'a posé beaucoup de problèmes en effet.
Plus, there's a handful of former champs looking to regain their former glory. So who will fortune favour in the end? It's the continuation of Day 4 of the Pokerstars Championship presented by Monte Carlo Casino. Hello everyone, it's James Hartigan with Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies.
And welcome back inside the Room of the Stars, where 32 players remain in the main event. And right now it's the French amateur Michael Kolkovic who has the chip lead, close to a 90 big blind stack. The blinds right now are 8,000, 16,000, and we already have action. Hussein Ensan, one of our former champions, is all in and way behind.
AKA my real dad. He lost a big one last time when he got it in dominated, and here we go again.
He's got 9s, Petruszewski has 10s. And there's a 10 on the flop.
All right, Pops, I'll see you at home.
Drawing dead on the turn.
Good luck, buddies. Thank you.
Ensan exits in 30 seconds. He cashes for more than 15,000 euros. Well, just as Ensan was KO'd, we lost Renaud Lejal from the feature table, so we're now down to 30 players. Plenty of big stacks on the main stage, including Li Hongchong, chip leader Michael Kolkovic, and Stefan Schilhabel.
I love Sergio Aido because his name sounds like that Wilhelm scream. Aido!
Thanks for that. Action folded here to Douglas Souza.
This guy's got almost 150K in live lifetime earnings.
Pocket 7s, under the gun +1. He raises to 37,000. Aces for Li Hongchong. Just a call.
It's a little sneaky, but with stack sizes the way they are, it's an okay play.
Round to Paul-François Tedeschi, who's got ace-king in the big blind. And that's a 3-bet. He re-raises to 140K. A quick fold from Souza.
And even though we know Han Chong could get it in here as a huge favorite, flatting is also okay.
He does just call. So heads up to the flop. Tedeschi, just 6% equity. But what a flop. Top pair and a flush draw for Tedeschi. Hongchong's still ahead right now with aces.
But it's still a terrible flop for aces and no heart.
Tedeschi had the pre-flop betting lead. He continues here for 162,000.
And even though I said it's an awful flop for aces, he certainly can't fold yet.
Hongchong calls.
Mic on.
663,000 in the middle. The turn card, the deuce of spades. Hongchong now a 3-1 favorite.
Yeah, finally some good news for those aces. And I know it sounds like I'm rooting for Hong Chong, but I'm pretty much just always rooting for aces to not get cracked.
Wow, Tedeschi shoves.
The sick part about this is I bet Tedeschi thinks he wants a call here. He definitely thinks he's winning.
Meanwhile, another elimination from the outer tables. Jerome Brion is out. Li Hongchong having a good think about this one. Schilharbel calls time.
Time to before.
We have seen a lot of players calling the clock on day 4 of this tournament.
They are bored as hell and they're not going to take it anymore.
60-second countdown begins for Han Chong.
You can see why this is such a tough decision. You're either going to be a decent but not 100% favorite or totally dead.
Well, it's a decision for roughly 50% of his stack.
It's decisions like this that you avoid if you get it in pre-flop. Still be quite a sweat, though.
Closing in on the final countdown.
Count down the last 10 because the hand is dead. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
He folds the best hand.
Paul Tedeschi has no idea how lucky he just got there. And I knew there would be one day. This guy folds aces.
Tedeschi's had a roller coaster ride today. His stack currently sits at just over $1 million. And right now players are cashing out for 20k, but there are 6-figure scores up for grabs at the final table, with the eventual champion receiving more than 500,000 euros.
We are closing in on the real money.
At the secondary feature table, 2 former champs are heads up on the flop. Davide Katai has bet 40k with a pair of 7s. Decision on Elke, who's got 2 pair.
Elke finally catching some run good. Not sure about defending with 10-3, but whatever. Let's just pretend like we don't know how we got here.
He raises to 133,000.
I really like this raise. Plenty of draws he can rep, and there's still plenty of hands he can get called by. Probably not this one, but oh, no, it is getting called.
Yeah, Katai makes the call with second pair. This hand going to the turn, which is another 7. Katai takes the lead with trips.
What?
Elke checks.
That loose call rewarded.
Katai taking over the betting. 55,000.
Pretty small bet. And I think it's because he thinks Elke was bluffing before. So I think he's trying to induce Elke into doing something real derpy.
Elke now playing 10s and 7s. Calls. The river card is an 8, so Katai has a lock on this. Elke checks. Katai checks. Showdown.
Yeah, 3 pair no good, Elke.
He loses 230k in that hand.
I feel like we gotta run some kind of hex breaker for Elke. He just gets pummeled by the deck today. Somebody track me down some I have Newt, frankincense, and a turkey sub because hex breaking gets me famished.
He's dropped below 350k. Meanwhile, Davide Katai is up over $1 million.
No mustard. It's bad for hex breaking.
Let's head back to the main feature table. Action has been folded to Stefan Schilharbel, who's got pocket jacks. Opens the action with a raise to 37,000. Queen 7 for Sousa. That goes in the muck. Lee Hon Chong's in the small blind with ace queen.
I know what you're thinking here. You can't win with aces. Why even bother with a hand that everybody goes broke with?
He elects to call. Pocket 7s for Michael Kolkovic in the big blind. And the chip leader re-raises. He 3-bets to 127,000.
This is probably a little too aggro. You're in a prime spot to see a flop, and that's kind of turning 7s into a bluff.
Well, he's been called by Schilharbel. Lee Hon Chong folded the ace-queen. And he would have flopped best, but as things stand, Schilharbel is a 96% favorite. He's got a pair of jacks and the best diamond draw.
Now, I don't think Kolkovic meant to bluff with 2 7s before the flop, but he's gonna have to now.
Continues the aggression, 182,000.
Jacks might still be the best hand, and Schilharbel has that decent flush draw, so he can peel one if he wants.
There's the call. The pot now at 669,000. The turn card, the 6 of hearts. Schulhabel now a 97% favorite.
Well, you gotta hand it to Kolkovic. For better or worse, he has got both feet on the gas.
Another barrel, 223,000.
And I don't think Schulhabel can call a second time. He doesn't even know if the flush draw's good.
He's a huge favorite here, but he doesn't know it, and he folds!
Folds to the Kolkovic doctor, because he has got some aggro voodoo.
Wow, the chip leader gets away with one there. And he's now up to 1.7 million here in the Monte Carlo main event. In the heart of the Riviera, 3 French players are dominating the Monaco main event. Michael Kolkovic and Paul Tedeschi have seen early aggression pay off, getting their opponents to fold better hands. Meanwhile, Elke is on the descent, and he's heading towards the danger zone.
Or as the French call it, le zone dangereux.
Welcome back to the Pokerstars Championship presented by Monte Carlo Casino, where Elke could be in action again. At the secondary feature table, there has been a raise from Papazian. Elke has ace-jack in the small blind.
In this, the Année de la Roumanie. I already don't like where this is going for Elke. Maybe he should get his old nose back. Maybe all his unluck was getting blocked by his deviated septum.
He has called. Manik Lerza calls as well with pocket 4s in the big blind, so 3-way to the flop. And that flop is ace high, top pair for Elke.
How are they going to do it to him this time?
Action check to the pre-flop aggressor. Alexandru Papazian with a gut shot straight draw is betting.
Oh, I know, it'll be a 7.
38,000.
Decent flop for Papazian to keep betting, because if he gets there, his hand will be more disguised than Jean Parmesan, and also him.
Elke calls. Lerza folds, so heads up to the turn. It's the 10 of hearts pairing the board. Elke now a 9-1 favorite.
It's looking like Elke might actually drag a pot here.
Action goes check, check. The river is a 7. Papazian rivers a straight.
Nah, nope, just kidding. Poor Elke, man alive.
Oh, and he's gonna value bet. 72,000. Now, obviously, Papazian isn't folding. Question, will the paired board stop him from raising?
No, I think there's a perfect spot for a raise. I think a 10 will pay you off, and I think some aces will too.
Yep, a raise to 225,000, and we are all sharing in Elke's agony right now.
I mean, I totally understand if he finally just snaps and decides wow, he still keeps making great folds. I don't know how he's doing it.
Gets away from it as Papazian chips up to over $1 million.
So much discipline from the Elkster.
It has seen his stack drop to 205,000. Back to the main stage. Blinds right now at 8,000, 16,000 with a 2,000 ante. Action will be on Paul Francois Tedeschi. He folds. Stefan Huber is out. As is Douglas Souza. Pocket 10s for Li Hon Chong.
Well, we saw him fold aces when they probably would have won. We saw him fold ace-queen when it probably would have won. 10s, let's see what happens.
He opens to 40,000. Michael Kolkovic, the chip leader, calls in position on the button with Queen 9 suited.
Weird to see him just calling for once, but okay.
Both blinds fold, heads up to the flop. And it's top pair for Kolkovic.
Of course he hits that over card. This guy runs really, really well in this room.
Only one over to Hon Chong's pocket pair. He will continue betting 50,000.
Now, Kolkovic is definitely not folding, but can he curb his raising enthusiasm?
He just calls.
All right, all right, all right.
The turn card is a 4.
If you're Han Chong, it's pretty tough to keep barreling here when you're not bluffing and you can't really bet for value either.
He checks the action to Kolkovic. 218,000 in the middle. Kolkovic taking over the betting lead. Fires out 60,000. And Hon Chong calls.
Fair.
The river card is another 4. Check.
Kolkovic should be value betting this.
No, he checks behind.
I don't want to get too technical, but if you're not going to bet that river, it's probably better just to not call pre-flop.
Michael Kolkovic up to 1.9 million, living a charmed life in a room that holds a very special place in his heart.
Tout à fait, parce que je me suis marié dans cette salle le 17 octobre 2010. Du coup, je considère que cette salle, elle me porte vraiment chance. Ma femme est lyonnaise, moi j'étais parisien. Du coup, c'était un bon moyen de se retrouver pour passer les week-ends. Et donc, voilà, on a eu le coup de cœur pour la salle des étoiles. On a fait le mariage religieux, disons, qui était prévu dans les jardins du Monte Carlo Bay. La soirée du mariage, on va dire, dans la salle des étoiles. C'est des conditions qu'on réunit, je pense qu'une fois dans sa vie, d'avoir tous les gens qu'on aime autour de soi. C'est le meilleur souvenir de ma vie. Et ce serait non seulement déjà incroyable de gagner, mais encore plus, voilà, de se dire que j'aurais vraiment vécu 2 choses incroyables dans la salle des étoiles. Ça restera le deuxième souvenir.
I'm usually pretty jaded about marriage, but that actually kind of almost made me have a feeling.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, it seems it is human. At the secondary feature table, Paul Testud has just been eliminated. He receives 20 grand and a hug from the TD.
Double run bad.
He was knocked out by Alexandru Papazian, who leaps into 3rd place on the leaderboard with 28 players remaining. Katai and Tedeschi are at the lower end of the top 10. Michael Kolkovic is still top dog with close to 2 million. And the blinds are up to 10,000, 20,000 with a 3,000 ante. Action folded to Stefan Schilhabel, who's got pocket kings in the hijack.
Let's do it.
He raises to 46,000. Tedeschi has queen 10 of diamonds and calls. Souza in the small blind. Passes. Lee Hon Chong in the big blind is also out. Heads up to the flop. 9-8 deuce.
Not a bad flop for kings, not good either.
Schilhabel does not continue. Checks the action to Tedeschi.
Interesting approach.
And he bets 58,000.
I kind of like a check-call methodology here. He can try to induce bluffs, maybe shove the turn to protect.
Well, he's going for the check raise on the flop. Makes it 195,000 total.
Well, he's definitely raising to protect against weird random hands like Tedeschi's. But I think he might win less in the long run this way.
Tedeschi folds. Stefan Schilhabel up to 882,000. Tedeschi drops down to 915,000. Well, we're heading to the outer tables where last year's Barcelona champ is all in and dominated.
It is Domination Nation.
Sebastian Malitz looking for a 9 to survive. It's a king 6-6 flop. 8 on the turn.
Not good.
And a 5 on the river. Sebastian Mallets departs in 26th place.
Mallets head to the exit.
Well, there's another all-in, this time at the secondary feature table, and this one is a race.
Like mansions versus yachts, one of these two hands has a slight mathematical advantage.
Gianluca Speranza with the slight advantage, but he's the player at risk, and he doesn't have the advantage anymore. An ace-high flop sees Katai take the lead. Speranza needs a 4 on the river. He doesn't hit. He is KO'd in 25th.
Good luck, guys.
Katai up to nearly 1.5 million. Speranza receives just shy of 20k. This is his first main event cash.
Yeah, but the important news is that there are 24 players left, final 3 tables.
Time for the redraw. Time for Davide Katai to celebrate with his fiancée Caroline.
Elke not celebrating, but it has been a struggle for him to get here.
So the final 24 will draw for seats around the final 3 tables. Meanwhile, if you would like to play in a main event, qualify now at Pokerstars.com. We're down to the last 3 tables at the Pokerstars Championship presented by Monte Carlo Casino, where the players' fates have been decided by a redraw. Michael Kolkovic retains pole position up on the main stage and isn't concerned about who joins him.
Voilà, je joue mon poker, peu importe avec qui je suis à table, je joue mon style de jeu, puis voilà. Je pense que j'ai une image de l'outsider qui peut un petit peu avoir tout et n'importe quoi sur n'importe quelle main, et ça me donne une position confortable.
Well, 2012 Berlin champ Davide Katai will be looking to make things a little less comfortable at the feature table.
I think most of the opponents need to be worried because I'm really playing to win. So I'm ready to take risk and to follow my feelings to get the job done.
Short stack Elke is also gunning for another title, and he'll be hoping for an early double up at the secondary feature table.
Sure, Elke would settle for dragging a pot at all at this point.
Well, Kolkovic is the tournament boss right now, ahead of the 2 Romanians.
Year of Romania.
Davide Katai currently 4th in chips with close to 1.5 million. Well, let's head straight to the secondary feature table. Elke is all in and behind. Ace-5 dominated by Marius Catalin-Patea's Ace-8.
Maybe they'll chop?
Well, after the flop, there's a 40% chance of a split pot. Elke gets the full double up if he hits a 5 or a 4.
Not looking good for Elke now.
He's eliminated unless the river is a deuce, a 4, a 5, or a 6. It's a 4!
Oh, he got there. Elke got there.
Elke rivers a straight and doubles up through Patea.
Elke finally drags a pot and he gets the full double up.
424,000 for the Elkster. Alas, no such good fortune for Diego Ventura. The former PCA runner-up is out in 24th. At the main feature table, Lee Hon Chong has been 3-bet by Andre Bondar.
All in. Call.
A shove and a call, and Hon Chong is way behind here.
This is the guy who had to make some pretty ridiculous folds, and now he's getting it in with 3s. It is not looking good.
A 10-9-6 flop. Kings improved to a 9-1 favorite. Unless there is a 3 on the river, Lee Hon Chong is out in 23rd place. The river card is a 6. Hon Chong is KO'd.
Hon Chong gets the gong. Time to leave the stage.
He will collect 25,700 euros. His chips slide across to Andre Bondar, who's now playing a stack of 1.22 million.
Russian Bono. Hello, hello.
Well, we're heading back over to the secondary feature table where Elke is all in again. But this time, he's got it in good. Ace-King against Ace-10.
He's the favorite, but that hasn't helped him much so far today.
His opponent is Vicente Delgado. The flop. Ace-9-3. Elke's hand is holding for now.
I got a good feeling about this one.
The turn card is a queen, so Elke just has to fade a 10 on the river to get another double up.
I got a good feeling about this one, even if Elke doesn't.
Case ace.
396.
Elke is getting back into the game.
Yeah, he is clawing his way back to average like Batman out of that Bane pit. That kind of made no sense. I'm sorry, it didn't.
Elke currently playing 826,000. We're heading back to the main feature table. Jeffrey Hakim is first to act. He folds. Maxim Panyak is an accomplished qualifier from Russia with more than $1 million in live earnings. He's raised it here with ace-5. Down to Davide Katai in the big blind. He's got 6 deuce.
I don't know why he would even look. It's not like he's ever gonna not defend his big blind.
Sure enough, he calls. The flop is 10-5-4, so second pair for Panyak, a straight draw for Katai, who checks.
Of course he flops something.
Panyak continues for 45,000.
Well, James, you don't defend your big blind with 6 deuce and then fold when you flop a gut shot draw. Come on, it's just one more card.
Katai makes the call. The turn card is a 3, and that is the straight for Katai.
Well, this is rich, and ironically, it's almost as rich as millionaire poker player Davide Katai.
And he's gonna lead.
He kind of has to bet this so it doesn't check behind, and he can go for an even bigger bet on the river.
112,000.
Panyak would check back a lot of hands, including this one. But now he can't. Oh, Maxim.
He calls Katai's bet, and this hand's going to the river. Which is a 7, so now Katai has a slightly better straight.
This might actually be the best card possible for Panyak. Ace-5 is just a terrible hand now, and a bunch of semi-bluffs got there.
425,000 in the pot. Katai bets $250,000.
You never want to believe the aggro guys got it, but this should be a pretty easy fold.
Panyak lets it go.
Davide Katai, that hurt.
Still among the chip leaders, hovering around the 1.5 million mark. 22 players remaining. The day will conclude when we're down to the final 16. Chip leader Michael Kolkovich is first to act here. Ace-7 under the gun.
Opening this in first position would be loose.
Loose it is. A raise to 58,000.
Story checks out.
Pocket 8s for Andre Bonda.
Now, if this hand gets to the turn and river, you can't call them that, James, because the streets have no names.
Oh. He calls. Katai has 7s. He calls as well. The blinds fold, so 3 players going to the flop. Ten, 6, 5. Bondar still best with pocket 8s. Kolkovich checks.
Interesting.
As does Bondar.
He can't really bet with 2 other people in the hand and 1 still to act.
Katai. That's 75,000.
He's trying to swipe this in position like a pie off a windowsill in an old-timey cartoon.
Michael Kolkovic may have other ideas.
Here we go.
He check raises to 190,000. Bondar, with the best of it, folds.
Bye-bye, Bondar. Unfortunately, this raise is not repping much.
Hence, Katai calls. Heads up to the turn. Which is a 9. Making Katai pretty much a 9-1 favorite in this hand.
Both these guys do have the same gut shot now.
Wow, Kolkovic just never slows down, does he?
This guy's got more heart than Anne and Nancy Wilson, the sisters that founded Heart.
Kolkovic bets 235,000. And Katai is still not a believer. He calls, pushing this pot over $1 million and taking us to the river. And that is a get-out-of-jail card for Kolkovic. They've both made a straight. This is going to be a chop.
Well, now his massive bet is going to be justified.
$640,000. Quick call from Katai. They both have a straight. Chop it up. And you know what they say, Joe? Everyone loves a chop putt. Refunds all around.
Question is more, what do you do when there's no 8 on the river?
The same thing.
That's a much more interesting question. What do you do? If there's no 8 on the river.
I make the same.
So you're a crazy guy then?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, actually. It seemed like a crazy hand, so you're a crazy guy then.
Crazy like a Renard.
Action at the secondary feature table. Romain Nardin has opened with aces. Decision on Raffaele Sorrentino, who's got jacks.
Wolfman's got Nardins and Nardin's got aces.
Sorrentino calls. Folded around to Souza. He passes. Patea is out. Vicente Delgado has ace-king.
Duh, no, this is just a bad cooler. Bad coolers can lead to nuclear meltdowns.
Delgado re-raises to 250,000. Action back on the original raiser.
I'm all in.
Nardin shoves.
Raffaele, you just got so lucky.
Sorrentino gives it a bit of a think.
Just give him one last look. Bye-bye.
Delgado calls. Not sure why Nardin's standing up and swearing. He's not the one at risk with 5% equity. Well, there's Sorrentino's jack.
Oh, sorry, Raffaele.
Delgado down to 2%. Bit of hope on the turn.
Queen.
Delgado needs a queen on the river to survive, but it's a 7. He is done.
Game.
Delgado is Del Gonzo.
That was a ridiculously big pot, by the way, and it sees Romain Nardin take the chip lead. Stacks McNasty 3.66 million.
Wolfman's got Nardins and Nardin's got chips.
Here in Monaco, one man has catapulted Romain Nardin into the chip lead.
It was like the rush of my life. I will do whatever it takes to make the final table.
But if anyone can catch him, it's the crazy man with nerves of steel, Michael Kolkovic.
Moi, ça me fait moins peur qu'eux parce que je suis un peu plus détaché. C'est vraiment, je le joue comme une passion et du coup, j'ai l'impression que ça me donne un avantage psychologique parfois.
Well, here at the Pokerstars Championship presented by Monte Carlo Casino, 21 players remain, and the blinds are up. 12,000, 24,000 with a 4,000 ante.
Now's when the real poker starts.
And we have just lost a player out in 21st place, Sergei Petrozhevsky.
Oh, jeez.
At the feature table, action has been folded around to Maxim Panyak. He passes, so it's now Michael Kolkovic on the button. He's got ace-3 of diamonds.
Now, from this position, you can raise a weak ace without it being super loose.
He does raise, makes it 68,000. Francois Tedeschi has queen 3 of hearts in the big blind. And that's a re-raise. He makes it 168k.
Has he not played against this guy before? I'm actually totally behind Kolkovic putting in a 4-bet bluff here.
Tell me please how much you played behind.
Nothing beyond.
About 500?
Only Swiss.
Okay, that's an answer, I guess.
No 4-bet from Kolkovic, just a call in position.
Somehow he takes the more reckless option. That's what he does.
Well, it's an ace-high flop, top pair for Kolkovic. Nothing for Tedeschi to be excited about.
I call just calling there reckless because you have to flop an ace to win, and even when you do, you have to call down the whole way and just hope it's good.
Tedeschi will still continue. 120,000.
Like in this spot, what's he supposed to do now?
I'm on it.
Well, he can do that. He can move all in. And Tedeschi folds.
He's really got to be careful with moves like that.
Show one.
Shows the ace.
10 of spade would have been interesting. More interesting.
Kolkovic, over 2 million now. Second in chips behind Nardan. Tedeschi has dropped below 500,000.
Don't be so smug, Paul. There was a time you were all playing like that.
So remember, we're playing down to 2 tables today. Play will conclude when we're down to 16. Right now we're at 20. But there has been an all-in and a call at the outer table. The player at risk is Lukas Kubicki. He's got Jack-10. He was called by Dmitro Shovanov, the online qualifier, who's got ace-9.
Shovanov really good friends with Stefan Olenitsky.
Shovanov still ahead. Kubicki looking for a jack or a 10.
Dismal flop for Jack-10.
6 outs, needs to hit on the river. Misses. He exits in 20th. Kubicki cashes for 25,700 euros. And Dmitry Shovanov moves over the million mark. So with 19 remaining, we're heading over to the secondary feature table, where Elke is going to the flop against 2 opponents. Douglas Souza and Raffaele Sorrentino.
Seems like between the 3 of them, they've got all the interesting flops covered.
Well, that is a very interesting flop. Top pair for Sorrentino, flush draw for Souza.
Should be seeing some action.
It's been checked to Souza. He was the pre-flop aggressor.
And now he's gonna semi-bluff.
He continues for 74,000.
74?
74.
Sorrentino calls. Elke folds his 7s.
Once again, forced to fold what was the best hand pre-flop.
So heads up to the turn, which is a 3. Sorrentino still ahead with top pair, top kicker.
I guess 10-9 of spades has got to keep betting here.
Another semi-bluff from Douglas Souza, 148,000.
So he's really hoping for a fold, which won't happen here, and then I guess spades is the backup plan.
Once again, Sorrentino calls.
Some smooth passive play from Sorrentino.
651,000 in the middle. Sorrentino's got less than pot behind. Souza did not get there on the river.
Calling.
So he bluff shoves. It's all in to call for Sorrentino, who has got the best hand.
This is a very serious call to have to make. But I think ultimately you have to. Souza is going to have some worse value hands, but a lot of flop draws bricked, mainly spades. So this is a prime spot for a bluff shove. But I will admit, ace-queen is right on the line.
You're never bluffing in this hand, right? Don't have any bluff here. Listen. You sure if I fall?
Time table.
Who called time? Yeah?
Okay, so you got 1 to make decisions starting from now.
Once again, we see the clock called.
Like ace 5 or deuces. You show ace queen? Sometimes.
A decision for his tournament life.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good call.
Great call.
Really great call.
And he knows it.
What a rush.
Nice call.
Thanks.
Souza's taking it well, and Sorrentino is raking it well.
Up to 1.5 million. Fantastic hand. So back to the main feature table. Maxim Paniak folds under the gun. Michael Kolkovich has pocket nines and raises to 68,000.
All in.
Tedeschi shoves with King Jack of clubs.
Hello, hello? No.
Back around to Kolkovich.
He's not folding.
There's been such a big rivalry between these two.
Call.
And Kolkovich calls, putting Tedeschi at risk. We are off to the races.
France on France.
The flop is 10-5-4. Kolkovich still ahead with nines. Tedeschi looking for a jack or a king. The turn card is another 10, so no extra outs for Tedeschi. He needs to see a king or a jack on the river. It's a 7. He's out in 18th. After many battles, Kolkovich deals the final blow, and Francois Tedeschi heads for the exit.
18th place, we are getting close.
We are indeed. Kolkovich now up to 2.6 million. So one more elimination, and play will conclude. Day 4 will be in the books.
Who's it gonna be?
Has been folded to the short stack, Jeffrey Hakim, who's got 10-9 suited.
This hand and this spot are pretty solid for jamming. You get a lot of folds, and you're probably gonna even be live when you're called.
He does shove for 304,000. Kolkovich is in the big blind.
Tell me how much is it, please?
304,000.
He's got a dominating hand.
Of course.
And he calls.
Domination nation, and somehow France is on top.
Jeffrey Hakeem will need to get lucky. But it's an ace-high flop.
It's not good.
He's gonna have to get really lucky now.
Running cards needed. And now he's drawing dead.
Good game. Good luck.
Jeffrey Hakeem eliminated by Michael Kolkovic, who has been incredibly active, aggressive, and successful on day 4. Hakeem exits in 17th place, securing his 13th main event cash.
Kolkovic has got so many chips now he can build the Eiffel Tower.
He's second on the leaderboard, but it's Romain Nardan who'll come into day 5 as chip leader with a stack of more than 3.9 million. Elke's made it into the last 16, but he's one of the short stacks. He'll be very envious of the position his fellow countryman Michael Kolkovic is in right now.
Je me sens mieux avec des jetons forcément à l'aise et pour demain, je vais venir à la tête calme, pas trop excité et essayer de jouer mon poker naturel.
Next time, emotions run high as the final table draws near.
It needs to. No.
When the poker world once lay at your feet, Elke will be crowned champion here in the Bahamas. But victory has become a distant memory.
It doesn't matter how many titles you have, a brutal beat hurts every single time.
It takes a special player to keep believing.
I feel really good about this tournament. As we go on, the best players are more likely to be surviving, so it's gonna be tougher for sure, but I'm ready for it.
With the final table in sight, 16 players take their seats in Monaco's Room of the Stars. Is this Elke's time to shine once again? We're in Monte Carlo for one of the biggest poker tournaments of the year. Over the course of 4 days, we've bid adieu to more than 700 players.
Thank you very much.
Most of the former champs have fallen. Only 2 continue on their journey towards a potential second title.
Experience will always help me to find some edge. Most of the poker players are not paying attention, like all the tells and all the psychological part of the live tournaments.
The new chip leader has his own reasons to be optimistic.
Thank you.
4 million of them. But he's not the only new face making a name for himself and building a stack.
So you're a crazy guy then?
Yes.
2 tables remain, with €500,000 on the line and the championship trophy. Hello everyone, I'm James Hartigan, he's Joe Stapleton, and this is the penultimate day of the Monte Carlo main event. Time to play down from 16 to 6.
Everyone is so close, but we're not quite there. There's gonna be elation, there's gonna be heartbreak. Some players will have their dreams fulfilled, others crushed.
It will be emotional for sure. We've got the chip leader up on the main stage while the other table is headlined by Elke.
Elke's making his deepest main event run since 2010, and if he makes the final, it'll be his first in nearly a decade.
After a prolonged barren spell, Elke looks like he's finally found his mojo again.
Yeah, it's been a while since I had a deep run in main event. So I'm just trying to stay focused and play my best game and then see what happens. It would be really awesome to win a championship, especially here in Monaco because I never cashed this one.
Elke has a lot of catching up to do on tournament boss Romain Nardan. The online pro concedes his normal game is a world away from the glare of the TV lights.
I play pretty much exclusively online. This month I decided to play 1 month of live poker. It's been good, I guess. Sometimes you have difficult moments when you're playing live. You have to bluff and you have a sweat.
Will perspiration mean elimination for Nardan? Or can he hold it together for his biggest live run to date? This is the Pokerstars Championship presented by Monte Carlo Casino. It's day 5, and that means we are at the business end, Joseph.
Playing down to a final table today, my babies.
Davide Katai hoping to make that final.
You know, Katai is a Belgian martial art. There they are practicing.
Michael Kolkovic has fond memories of this venue. He's hoping to make new ones.
The feel-good story of the year.
There is the chip leader, Romain Nardan.
Romain Nardan. 99% of the French accent is confidence.
And Elke arriving late as usual.
Looking for a shot of redemption. Looking for a photo opportunity. He doesn't want to end up a cartoon in a cartoon graveyard.
Well, Elke is the low man at the secondary table. The big stacks here belong to Diego Zaita and Alexandru Papazian. They've got more than 70 big blinds apiece. It's the feature table where most of the chips dwell, with Kolkovic and Nardan sat next to each other. Also on the main stage, the other previous champ, Davide Katai.
Speaking of blinds, look at these blinds. 12,000, 24,000. One big blind is almost an entire starting stack.
Don't forget the running ante of 4,000.
Oh, yeah.
Kolkovic first to act here, under the gun. He folds. Nardan, with his monster stacks. Passes. Stefan Schilhabel is the table shorty.
Only one way this can go, and that's in the middle.
He shoves for 338,000. Folded around to Andreas Klatt, who's got pocket nines.
This Klatt has 9 nines. That didn't work.
Agreed. Well, Klatt has players to act after him.
He's going to have to jam for that very reason.
Holdem.
There's the reshove. Douglas Souza folds. Katai and Sorrentino in the blinds. Both muck. It's a race.
It's a German race, like Sprockets versus Stockenblocken. One of these two hands has a slight mathematical advantage.
Nines holding on the flop. Schilhabel has picked up a gut shot. Aces, kings, and queens all working for him.
Yeah, ace-queen has not lost much equity at all.
That's a brick. 10 outs for Schilhabel. He does not hit.
Good luck, guys.
First KO of the day.
Nice hold.
What did he call him?
Stefan Schilhabel eliminated in 16th, cashing for 25,700 euros.
And we have taken our first step toward the final table.
Andreas Klatt has 1.4 million, around an average stack. Well, the next player out will receive more than 33,000 euros. Make the top 6, you've locked up 100k, and that #1 spot pays out over $500,000.
Of course, the money doesn't go quite as far here. I don't want to say Monaco's expensive, but even the toilet paper has been replaced by tablets.
Let's head over to the secondary feature table where Elke is in the big blind. Action on Alexandru Papazian. Under the gun +2. He raises to 50,000 pocket fours.
Year of Romania.
Well, let's see what Elke's got. Ace, deuce of diamonds.
Elke's super short, but he doesn't have to jam. It's only one big blind to see a flop. He's getting good pot odds, and he can reevaluate after he sees the first 3 cards.
And those cards are Queen, Jack, 7, no diamonds.
Like here, he can reevaluate if he wants to smash a brick over his face or simply eat glass.
He checks the action to Papazian, who checks behind.
Ooh, a free card.
The deuce of spades. Elke now with bottom pair. Still not betting. And no delayed continuation bet from Papazian. 9 on the river, so the Romanian still has the best hand.
Elke got another free card and the false hope that maybe he's ahead.
So this gets checked to showdown.
And once again, Elke ends up with the best worst-case scenario.
Let's accentuate the positive. He only lost a small pot there. But when you are a short stack, every chip is important.
But all you need is a chip and a chair. I don't know if you've ever heard that.
Many times since you invented the expression in 2014. Back at the main feature table. Actions on the chip leader. He folds. Round to Andreas Klatt. He's in the hijack. With King 7. He passes. 10-4 for Douglas Souza. That's a fold. Davide Katai on the button with 10-8 of spades.
No, this is a dream hand for Davide Katai on the button. For him, this is like having aces. 3 aces.
He raises to 57,000. Raffaele Sorrentino is in the small blind. He folds. And Michael Kolkovic is in the big blind with 5-4 offsuit.
He ain't scared of no ghost.
He calls.
Hope he doesn't accidentally think about the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
This is so random. Where are you going with this?
I have no idea.
Oh, wow. Kolkovic flops a straight.
My goodness, this is going to be a mess.
Katai with top pair and a gut shot. It's been checked to him. He checks behind. Well, Katai picks up a flush draw on the turn.
Clean up on aisle 4th Street.
Kolkovic is a 71% favorite. He leads for 119,000.
Katai's got a pair and flush and straight draws. This is going to feel like the nuts to him. He is going nowhere.
He calls, and we're going to the river. Which is the 7 of hearts, so Kolkovic's straight is still good.
Such a boring river card, though.
There's 392,000 in the pot. Kolkovic bets 338,000.
I'd say against a lot of players, this is an easy fold. Kolkovic has been known to make some weird moves, like Elaine Bennis trying to dance. Katai's going to try to justify a call here, but ultimately, Kolkovic's range covers way too much of this board.
I just realized that Schilhalbel's no longer here to call the clock.
Kolkovic said he doesn't care that much about the money because he's just playing for fun. That makes him unpredictable.
Okay. Show me. Show me. Up.
Si je te dis good fold, ça va t'avancer à rien.
I heard the words good fold.
I did too.
Michael Kolkovic takes 200k off Davide Katai. He's up to nearly 3.4 million and closing in on the chip lead in the Monte Carlo main event. The fight to the final table continues here in Monaco, and we've already seen the first casualty of the day.
Good luck, guys.
Meanwhile, French amateur Michael Kolkovic is holding his own and ruffling some feathers.
Okay. Show me. Show me.
Meanwhile, Elke's good fortune seems to be petering out at the worst possible time. We're down to 15 players here at the Pokerstars Championship presented by Monte Carlo Casino. And our main feature table. The action is on Moritz Dietrich.
That sweater is giving the camera op a seizure.
Folded to Andreas Klatt, who's got pocket kings.
Clinkers for Klatt, Klang, King Kong Klatt.
Just as bad as the last one, just stop.
I actually thought that one was okay.
Klatt counting out a raise to 56,000. Douglas Souza wakes up with queens at the worst possible time.
Oh, sweet, fanciful Moses, why? What a terrible thing to happen to the guy whose father wrote Stars and Stripes forever.
Hashtag fake facts.
Yeah, but this is real trouble.
Mauling.
Oh, he shoves. Still have players to act behind. Katai's folded. Sorrentino's out. Kolkovic and Nardan are in the blinds.
Nerp and nerp.
Klatt snap calls.
Such a bad feeling.
There is an 82% chance that we lose Douglas Souza from the Monte Carlo main event. It's a low flop. King's an even bigger favorite now. The turn card is a 10. Only a queen saves Souza.
It's looking pretty grim.
It's a jack.
Look, guys.
Douglas Souza eliminated in 15th place.
I don't know much about Souza, but in the entire 2 hands we saw him play, he got worked in both of them and presented himself as a class act.
Andreas Klatt off to a great start today, up over 2 million.
I love Klatt.
Well, there is an all-in at the secondary table. Sergio Aido is at risk with pocket nines. He is racing against the ace-king of online qualifier Dmitro Shovanov. The flop, 10-10-4.
No.
Shovanov wants to see an ace or a king.
Still no.
What's he doing?
Do it. Damn it.
Well, that river card's just overkill.
I like this guy.
272.
Okay. We'll be fast.
Let the professionals handle it. Aido gets the full double up through Shovanov.
James and I met Shovanov at a party the other night, and he asked if we were online qualifiers. I told him no, and then he asked me to get him a drink.
Well, after that hand, Elke is now the shortest stack at the table, with just over 500,000 chips. And with 14 remaining, we have 3 players in the danger zone.
Danger zone! Danger zone! Danger zone!
Aido, Elke, and Dietrich. Romain Nardan is still on top. Michael Kolkovic not far behind. Blind still 12-24. Back on the main stage. Moritz Dietrich first to act.
That's the kind of sweater that should come with a free bowl of soup.
King 6 is folded. Andreas Klatt. That's kings again.
What? No, come on. Especially because I used all my Kitty Klatt Kings puns last hand.
And they were so good.
Stop it.
He raises to 56,000.
That's what he did last time. He's got to tell.
Katai with Queen 8 folds. Sorrentino has 6-3. He passes. 4-3 for Kolkovic. They're suited.
Nope, he picked up the king's tell.
Do you know how much do you play now?
Like 2-2.
Maybe Nardan will get involved. He's in the small blind with Queen 4.
Dude, you could have looked at your cards before you asked that.
It's around to Patea in the big blind. He also folds. Kings go to waste this time.
Now, I know that might seem annoying, but who wins twice with kings?
And quite frankly, Andreas Klatt is having an amazing week here in Monte Carlo.
since I was 20. Used to play online and a little bit live. I started studying and quit, but since I'm finished with studying, I decided to play again. My plan was to travel and to see many cultures. That's why I like poker as well, because you travel a lot, see new people, and just enjoy life. Since I came to Monaco, I didn't stop playing already for 10 days. I decided to play the 1K and just running good and just won this one. And after I jumped to the main event and kept going, I felt like I took the chips from the other tournament with me. I think if I can win both, it's one time in your life. Just unbelievable.
Break me off a piece of that kit clap bar.
I suggest you take a break. Blind still 12-24. Action at the feature table is on Michael Kolkovic. He's got pocket sixes in the hijack.
Makes sense, he's been trying to hijack this tournament since day one.
Ba-boom.
I guess there goes my passenger 57 joke.
Kolkovic raising to 78,000. Chip leader Romain Nardan is in the cutoff with Jack 8 of diamonds. What's he thinking about?
He's definitely cooking something up.
That is a re-raise to 205,000.
I don't hate the idea of a 3-bet with Jack 8 suited, but this might be the wrong guy to make a play against.
What's Patea thinking about with 7 deuce?
Puppies?
Fold already.
Puppies in a basket?
Thank you. Dietrich in the small blinds. Passes. King 4 for Klatt in the big. He's out. Action back on Kolkovic, who is not one to fold.
He's not really one to 4-bet either, so I'm pretty sure we're going to see a call. They're also too deep for him to 4-bet sixes. I'm sure he's thinking about that.
Clearly thinking about various options.
None of them are folding.
There's the call. Strap in. Battle of the big stacks alert.
And somehow they're flipping if we see all 5 cards.
The flop is King 8-4, so Nardan pairs his 8 and is now an 85% favorite.
Sixes get outflopped.
Kolkovic checks.
So does Nardan keep on bluffing now, or does he just go for showdown value with the pair of 8s?
He checks behind. And Kolkovic's equity increases as he picks up a spade draw on the turn. And he's going to lead. 125k.
It's a very small bet. It's not going to get any better hands to fold.
Nardan now with 3rd pair.
Too easy to call.
He does call this hand going to the river, which is the ace of clubs.
And this is going to be a tough card for either one of them to pull the trigger on, even though we know they probably should.
Kolkovic checks.
Both these guys know the other one won't fold an ace.
Nardan checks behind.
6 is no good.
Kolkovic concedes defeat. And there is now a big difference between 1st and 2nd on the leaderboard. Michael Kolkovic has slipped down to just over 3 million. Romain Nardan moves up over 4.2 million.
How green does your Nardan grow? I got nothing!
Let's head over to the secondary table, where the action has been folded to Elke. King-Queen suited.
Morning.
Here we go.
460.
Action on Diego Zaita.
455, sorry.
He folds.
Any ace would be technically ahead.
Papazian and Paniak fold as well. The shove gets through. Elke adds 75k to his small stack.
He's only treading water, but the good news is that he is alive and kicking.
And still in contention to make the final table. So do you have what it takes to go deep in a main event? You can qualify at Pokerstars.com. The big stacks have started to collide here in Monaco. While the shorter stack is having to maintain his composure to avoid falling short of the final table.
I've been doing meditation, and I've also been thinking my approach to the game, you know, and how I could improve it. It's hard because no like recipe for everyone, you know. It's much more personal than working on technical